You're watching South Asian Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 8th of March. Global South believes in India. China does not participate, says Jaishankar. India emphasizes economic ties amid Taliban's request for visa facilitation. And Hindus in India and Nepal celebrate Maha Shivratri. For all the details. Highlighting India's leadership among the global south during his visit to Japan, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said the 125 countries of the platform place their trust in India and that China skipped the 2 meetings convened by India last year to listen to their concerns. Speaking at a forum meet in Tokyo on Friday, Jaishankar said the countries of the global south do not think it is a coincidence that it was under India's presidency that the African Union got a seat in G20.
In those continents, they know exactly what is happening, who's speaking up for them, how their issues are getting on the table. You know, they don't think it is a coincidence that it was under the Indian presidency that African Union, which had long been promised a seat in the G20, finally got a seat. So the global south believes us. At the 2 summits which we convened, I don't believe China was present.
Meanwhile, speaking about India's ties with Russia and its criticism of Moscow's war in Ukraine, Jaishankar said, "Today we are being told that there are principles involved. I have seen those principles cherry-picked," he added. Amid the rising popularity of China, US President Joe Biden on Thursday announced that Washington has revitalized its partnership with its allies and nations like India, Australia and Japan. Biden, in his final State of the Union address before a joint session of the US Congress, said the US wants competition with China but not conflict. Biden, seeking re-election in November, said America is in a strong position to win the competition for the 21st century against China. China has been ramping up its military offensive against Taiwan, the self-ruled island of more than 23 million people, triggering global concerns, including from the US. While India has remained careful about how it addresses China's sovereignty concerns, New Delhi has been less deferential to Beijing's sensitivities on issues such as Tibet and Taiwan. India's Foreign Ministry Joint Secretary J.P. Singh on his visit to Kabul met Taliban's acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi and conveyed that New Delhi aims to strengthen economic relations with Afghanistan by facilitating trade through the Chabahar port. Despite India's non-recognition of the Taliban regime, its officials have maintained regular engagements with the authorities in Kabul. Singh's visit marks his 4th to Afghanistan since the fall of the Republic in August 2021. Muttaqi also urged India to facilitate visa issuance process for Afghan businessmen, patients and students. India continues to maintain strict limitations on granting visas to Afghan nationals in the aftermath of the Taliban's resurgence to power, with no signs of relaxation thus far. A senior minister in POK has voiced concern over Islamabad's apathy to provide funds for reconstruction of education and health facilities that were damaged in the deadly 2005 earthquake in the region. A report.
Chaudhry Mohammad Rashid, Power Development Minister, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, has appealed to Islamabad to provide funds for infrastructure projects that have remained stalled even after 19 years post the deadly earthquake in the region. Rashid said there are hundreds of projects that are stalled due to no funding, while more than 1 lakh school students are still forced to study under an open sky. Locals blame that successive governments have only made big claims, but no groundwork has been done to reconstruct and rehabilitate the victims.
कि अभी तक जो फेडरल गवर्नमेंट की एक्ट के तहत और उनके कानून के तहत उनकी ज़िम्मेदारी थी इरा एक्ट के तहत कि उन्होंने रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन मुकम्मल करनी है, लेकिन पिछले कई सालों से वो हमें फंड्स मुहैया नहीं कर रहे, जिसकी वजह से लाखों की तादाद में हमारे बच्चे खुले आसमान के नीचे तालीम हासिल करने पे मजबूर हैं। हमारे जो अनकम्प्लीट प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जो शुरू ही नहीं हुए, उन प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए हमें फौरी तौर पर फंड्स मुहैया किए जाएँ। और उस वक्त हमारे फंड्स जो हैं जो डोनर की तरफ से इरा के पास आए थे 55 बिलियन जो हैं वो दीगर प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए पाकिस्तान के अंदर शिफ्ट किए गए।
Residents say a complete overhaul is required, but the government pays no heed to the dilapidated infrastructure. They accuse they have been at the receiving end of the discriminatory policies of Pakistan that have failed to provide even basic facilities to them.
6 Sri Lankan nationals, including a mother and 4 young children, were knifed to death in the Canadian capital Ottawa late on Wednesday, rocking the country where mass murders are rare. The Ottawa police in a statement said they had arrived at scene following emergency calls on Wednesday night, during which they found the victims inside a house in the southwestern suburb of Bearhaven. Police said Fabio Di Joisa, a 19-year-old male student from Sri Lanka, had been arrested and charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. The victims killed were a 35-year-old woman and her children aged 7, 4, 2 and 2 months, as well as a 40-year-old man who was an acquaintance of the family. Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Ali Sabri has termed the incident deeply shocking and has said the Sri Lankan mission in Canada is in contact with the family and assisting the Canadian authorities. Liquid sugar and chemical waste continued streaming into Karnafuli, a major Bangladeshi river, on Thursday, 3 days after a massive fire burned down over 100,000 metric tons of raw sugar in a factory in the port city of Chittagong. The sugary waste is wreaking havoc in the river, which is the lifeline of the second largest city of Bangladesh, by creating a thick layer on the water surface. Dead fish and other marine creatures like crabs and jellyfish were seen floating on a long stretch of the river.
আমরা এখন সকালে দেখছি প্রায় 3 কিলোমিটার কর্ণফুলীর উভয় পাশে সমস্ত পানির রং পরিবর্তন হয়ে গেছে এবং দেখতে অনেকটা শরবতের মতো হয়ে গেছে। দুর্গন্ধ হচ্ছে। এখানে যে সমস্ত মাছ ছিল সেগুলি গতকালকে ভেসে উঠেছে, এখন দূর দূরান্তের মাছ ভেসে উঠছে।
Fishermen said they could not go to work due to the accident and blamed the factory for not containing the molten liquid in its own compound. Firefighters continued to spray water on the charred factory on Thursday as the fire, which broke out on Monday, was not completely doused. Devotees across India on Friday thronged temples as they celebrated the Hindu festival of Maha Shivratri, the great night of Lord Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. Serpentine queues were seen at Ujjain's Mahakaleshwar temple, where devotees waited since early morning to offer prayers and witness the grand Bhasma Aarti. Similar displays of devotion and religious fervor were seen in Varanasi and Srinagar, where hundreds of devotees gathered at the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple and Shankaracharya temple to celebrate Mahashivratri.
आज महाशिवरात्रि है, सबको पता है। तो महाशिवरात्रि में पूजा करने के लिए हम सब यहाँ पे आए हैं कश्मीर में। वैसे भी हमारे अभी छुट्टियाँ चल रही हैं, तो हमने सोचा था कि महाशिवरात्रि की पूजा करने के लिए यहाँ पे आएंगे। हम सुबह कोई 4 बजे से यहाँ पे आए हैं एंड पूजा चल रही है हमारी।
Hindu devotees in Nepal also thronged the famous Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu and offered flowers, leaves, water and milk to Lord Shiva. To mark the day, the iconic temple was decorated with alluring flowers and other items.
हाम्रो यो पशुपतिनाथको धेरै ठुलो योगदान र महत्त्व भएको कारणले आज यस देशमा हाम्रो यस पशुपतिको रक्षा सुरक्षा को कारणले हामीहरू आज मानवलाई सुख शान्ति अथवा हामीहरू अगाडि प्रगति र उन्नतिको बाटो।
That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time.